Okay, this is tutorial number 4, and we're going to start looking at how we can sort out our layout for the HTML5 tags using CSS3. Okay, I'm going to go back to my folder just to recap. Um, Last time we created London College. Inside I've got index and the layout.css. The layout.css controls how to position all the HTML5 tags on the web page. Let's quickly look at how everything is working. Okay, so I'm just going to drag and drop index in Internet Explorer to see what's happening, and drag and drop into the Google to see what's happening. And also both of this file I'm going to open on Notepad++ so we can see what additional things we need to add and change around. Okay, so this is the index file, this is the CSS file which we worked previously. Now the big problem with HTML5 is it does not work with the older browser. So for this reason we have to do lots of things. That way if the website is used on different browser, it works exactly the same. One of the major concern is Windows Explorer 8 and below, because when HTML5 was introduced, Windows Explorer or Microsoft stated they did not want to follow HTML5 route, where they probably was going to come up with their own web language. However, the industry loved HTML5. They loved what the new elements has been created, how simple it is, and the integration of various new HTML5 tags which can do lots of things using simple tags. Now in this tutorial we need to look at different things, how we can organize our structure, we need to organize our layout, and how the website we're trying to create will work in different browser. Okay, so let's start. Before we start, one thing we need to understand and needs to be a basic of everything is indenting your tags inside the main tags. So for example, here we got header and I've indented the H1, which is the heading, as you can see here, London College inside, which is tabbed in. Now we got navigation and the data inside the nav is tabbed in. Now I'm talking about the code, not the web page. That way is easy to find where the problems are once this code starts getting bigger. Okay, now next thing we need to start looking for is something is like commenting your tags, because in future I know you guys will not be able to remember most of these tags. Now if you keep on doing it again and again, you will remember it. But however, it's good practice to comment your tags. The point of this is that in future, if you want to look at it, or any other programmer will try to look at it, by following your comment tag, they'll understand what's going on. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is understand how the comment tag works. Okay, so open arrow, exclamation mark, dash dash, and in here you can say you cannot see me. Okay, and the tag ends with dash dash close arrow. So open arrow, exclamation mark, dash dash. Please remember to close the tag, dash dash close arrow. Now if you don't do this, everything comes up as comment tag. The browser does not understand that. So if I quickly save this, press F5 here, well, it's picking up, but Internet Explorer is not understanding HTML5 text, so you're just looking at the text. But can you see what has happened to Google Chrome? It doesn't understand it because the tag has not been closed. So for example, if I close this tag now, save the file, go press F5, see, you can't see this writing in there. Okay, and if I press F5 here, same thing, no problem. Okay, so everywhere you do something, you need to leave a comment to say what its action is. So for example, in here I'm going to leave meta tags. Okay, now the cool thing about this is you can always copy and paste in there and then change your message. Style sheet links. Okay, so here I can have different style sheet links. So this one is specific for layout, so I'm going to be specific. Main page layout. Yep, so it's telling me that this is the main page layout style sheet link, so that way I know this file belongs to that. So everyone knows what the body is. This is the header tag, so I can again Control C, Control V, try to put it as close as possible. In fact, it'd be easier to put it on top of it, not on the side, so leave a space there. So this one I'm gonna call it main header of the page. Now there's nothing stopping you to put the comment tag for this, to say that this is the heading, blah blah blah, everything. Okay, and again I'm going to go into navigation, paste the code in there, and this one is going to be my main navigation. Okay, because it depends how you want to do it. If you want to have a menu button on the side here, then this one will be main, and there'll be another one called subnav. So this one's going to be main navigation, and then paste it here, main area of the web page. Now remember, this section area is where all your information that you need to display in this area. Okay, so every time you add more information, this will grow and grow and grow. Okay, and the last part is your footer. So footer of the page, and everyone knows closer. So if I save Control S or save it, press F5, what you have added in there will not be seen here. Okay, everyone understand that? Cool. Now the problem we have to fix now is, why is it not working in Internet Explorer and works on Google Chrome? So we need to do little research. Now remember, if you do some research, you find a code on your internet or textbook, you always can reference your information inside your web page by using the comment tag. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about something called this area, HTML5 shim, enabling HTML5 on Internet Explorer 8 or below. Now there's lots of different things you can do. Okay, the best one I found so far is you need to download a HTML5 sheaf.js file. This is the example. Let me just quickly see if they've got the example in here. Okay, they haven't got any example on here, but I found it on different website where you can download this. I'll try to put it on the shared folder. However, you can download it from internet. So the possibilities are, either you can declare your HTML tags, which are these HTML5 tags on your head area, okay, in order for it to work properly. Otherwise it won't work. This is what it's doing. Can you see? Document.create element header. Let me just quickly show you so you understand. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to my HTML page, and this code needs to go in here between the head tag underneath the link. Okay, so the script is saying basically we're creating our own tag called header, because Windows Explorer 8 doesn't understand what his header is, and we've used header for our main head. Okay, so if you understand what I'm talking about, let's see what happens. So if I save, Control S or save, press F5. Now Windows Explorer is saying there's a script on this page, do you want to use it? So of course we want to use it, otherwise we won't see what the outcome is. So we can say allow the block contents, and can you see what has happened? Yep, exactly same. Now if I copy this and paste it inside, try to put in the same line, make sure it's indented in properly, and open up next one is nav. So change the header into nav, and if I press F5, can you see what has happened? HTML5 tag is understood by Internet Explorer 8. Now the problem is, you can do this method, there's nothing wrong with that, and I can quickly reference where I got this information from at the top. So I'm going to put the comment tag, reference, Control C, Control V. That's all you have to do, and close that tag. And then underneath that, I'm just going to say I'm declaring HTML5 tags for browsers that does not understand new HTML5 tags, and close the comment tag. So as you can see, okay, it is possible that you browser can render how you created the files. Okay, so this is method 1. Okay, the method 2 is a different one, where we need to download a file called html5 sheaf.js. basically the person, I think is called Shiv something, I don't know what his real name is, but this guy has created this JavaScript which contains all the HTML5 elements which Internet Explorer 8 or below can understand. Okay, and this is how it works. So I've already downloaded the file, but you might want to find it, otherwise this is a method. So any HTML5 tags you use, you just keep on adding them in here. Okay, now so the second method which I prefer is, if I go to my document area, I'm going to make a folder inside here, new folder, and I'm going to call it JavaScript. Okay, now inside this folder I'm going to put this script. See, as you can see, I've already downloaded it, so I'm just going to put it inside there. Okay, remember it's a .javascript file, so it's .js, and can you see what the path is? It's inside my main root, inside a folder called JavaScript, and the file is called HTML5 sheaf. Now what I need to do is link this file inside here, so that way I don't have to write the tags in there. Okay, so if I delete this out, this is the link code. So if I copy that and paste it in here, so basically it's coming under comment tag, but what it's trying to do is hide the script from the browser, so when we're doing the validation of the HTML5, so that way it doesn't read this file, otherwise we're going to get lots of error. So what's happening is, if the browser is less than Internet Explorer 9, is going to import the script called HTML5 sheaf.js into this document, so it works on both browser. However, the problem is we need to state which folder is saved in, and is currently saved inside a folder called JavaScript. Okay, so if I come in here and just type in JavaScript and just double check the spelling, everything is in the right folder. JavaScript, and the file name is called HTML5. Yep, SHIV, and it's .js file. Okay. Now, this information, whilst I was browsing and researching on internet, it started coming from here. So when I click on this HTML5 shim, you get more information. And not only that, I've found a wiki page which is HTML5 shim page, where you can download the whole zip file, but you need to be very careful what you're downloading, because there's lots of files in there. So I downloaded this file, and as they also give you, telling you to insert this inside the head element after or before your CSS file. And if I quickly show you, this is the download file, and the file we need from here is this one. Okay, so just I open it. It's basically the whole document is zipped, so I went into dist folder and HTML5 shift.js, and I unzipped it into my area and copied that file. Or you can just you should be able to drag and drop from here easily. Okay, you might want to do a little bit more reading on this document, so because that way if you want to become web designer, you understand what's going on. Without this information, you can't do. So again, because this helped me to do my code, I'm just going to copy it and take this away from here, and I'm going to reference it in here as well, because those are two websites it was helping me. Okay, save that. Now let's see what the outcome of this is. So I've saved it. Press F5 on the browser, press F5 on the Google. Can you see all the elements has been working perfectly? Exactly same. Yep. So it works on Internet Explorer 8. Just to let you know, this is Internet Explorer 8. You can go to help about Internet Explorer, and it's Internet Explorer 8. I don't have the latest version yet. Okay. So do you understand? This is a very important concept to understand. And also commenting your codes and using JavaScript. Later on we may talk about JavaScript, because we need to do a little bit more on JavaScript end. So based on that, that's sorted. Next thing we need to do is, if I open the browser fully, can you see what's happening to my, I'm zooming in and zooming out inside the browser. So what's happening is that the tags, the elements of each is coming next to each other. It's not positioned in the fixed area. So we need to sort that out, otherwise we're gonna have lots of problems. Okay, and just double check on Google Chrome, is the same thing happening? So I'm going to zoom in. Yep, so zooming out is fine, but when I start zooming in, same thing is happening. It's not sitting in the same position, but it just keeps on coming next to it. Let me just get back to the 100%. That's it. Just double check with Internet Explorer if you're in 100%. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly minimize this, minimize that, and let's see what we can do about that. In order to do that, all this information, the header, the nav, the section, footer, so all these elements here, we need to kind of like pack them inside an outer box. Okay, so if you imagine that we're going to create an imaginary box outside, which is going to have a fixed position, fixed width, and all this information is inside that fixed box. So that way nothing happens to the inner part, but the outer is fixed. Okay, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So the first thing we need to do is bring in a new tag in here, just underneath the body, and this one I'm going to call it a div. I'm going to give it an ID. Okay, you need to read a little bit about ID and class to understand why we're using it. In here I'm going to put ID equal quotation, I'm going to call it wrapper. because it's going to be the wrapper, everything is going to be wrapped around this area. So wrapper, close thing. Okay, now because this div tag I'm using ID wrapper, everything is going to be inside it, so I'm just going to highlight everything up to footer and tab it 1 in, so that way I can know that this tag is started but it's not being closed. So I'm going to go all the way down here and close this div tag I've started. Okay, put it back in there, so that way if I click on it I know it's ending somewhere because it's gone purple, and if you follow the line, this red line, can you see it's ending to there. So anything you do, make sure you always indent your code, otherwise your code is not, it's basically messy. Okay, now if I save this and refresh on the browser, you won't see any difference at the moment, okay, because we need to go to CSS and control this wrapper. So I'm going to go to the layout. Inside the layout I need to call the wrapper in. Now because the wrapper is hierarchy in sense that everything else is inside there, I'm going to put it right at the top, and here I'm going to call up the ID, and the way we do it is by putting hash, calling the tag we just created, ID wrapper. So this one is this wrapper. Make sure the spelling is correct, otherwise it's going to mess up everything. I'm just going to copy it and paste it just in case. Yep, it's same. Open the curly bracket and close the curly bracket. Okay, in here now we need to set the width first, width of the outside wrapper, and I believe we are working on 1000 pixels, so width is gonna be 1000 px, not 100, 1000 px. And this is the trick we have to do. We say margin, so we are putting a margin on this box, and it works by putting a 0 space auto. I don't know how, I don't know why, but when I do the research reading on this element, it just says that this is all you need to do, and you'll put the information on your web page as center. And here is an article, how do I center a web page layout using CSS. So as you can see, it's done exactly same as what I'm been showing you how to do. And I'm just going to go all the way down to see his wrapper. So he's created a wrapper with his 720 pixel, and there you go, it's adding margin 0 auto, and that's all it is about. And we'll put the information in center. So because I found this information really good and it helped me, I can always copy the website and reference it inside my CSS. Now you have to be very careful how to do this, because the HTML comment tag in HTML is different than comment tag in CSS. Okay, in CSS we have to put hash star, and I'm just gonna put it in there. Now to close this tag, again same thing, star and backslash, oops, not 8, star and backslash. That's the comment tag in CSS. Now it's similar to C++, you guys do probably later on, or you've already started doing it. So if I save this now, CSS index page is saved. Okay, go back here. Now press refresh this page. Okay, and go to Google, refresh the page. You don't see any difference, but if I maximize it, there you go. So the wrapper has forced the content to be centered. Okay, and now if I zoom in, see, it's getting bigger as before, but if I zoom out, it's same, but once I start zooming in, can you see the contents is not going next to each other like it was before, but the content is inside the wrapper, because the wrapper is getting shrink, the outside part is getting smaller, and everything which is inside it is just getting smaller with the outside part. That's the clever bit. So I'm just going to zoom out back to the way it was and just quickly check the Google Chrome one, maximize it. Okay, again it's been centered just like exactly same as Internet Explorer now. And when I zoom out it's same. When I start zooming in, can you see exactly same in the fixed position, so it doesn't affect it. Okay, that's the cool thing. HTML with CSS, you can do lots of things. Okay, just quickly minimize that, okay. So far what you've learned: number one, commenting your tag; number two, how to override the Internet Explorer issue, and introducing a wrapper tag, div, which is part we're linking with the div tag, and doing a little bit of simple trick in CSS to display the information in center. Okay, now the final thing we need to sort out is to check the code we're writing, does it meet to the standards of the standard, which are the W3 compliance. In order to do that is very simple. All you do is go to the browser, type in HTML validation. Basically this is the organization which controls the standards of the HTML tags validation. So they've got a little program there where they can check if your HTML code is correctly done. So what I'm going to do is validate by file upload. So click on that, choose a file. So I need to go to my desktop, and what's the folder name? Is the web design inside London College. That's the index file which I want to check. So I'm going to open it up and click on check. Okay, so far if you're following me, we have passed the W3C validation. Okay, so if you can see saying passed, one warning. That means if you just double check what the problem with one warning is, basically because HTML5 standard is not fully complete, they're still developing new tags. So at the moment it's saying it's passed, but there's one minor warning. But if you think about it, it's telling you using the experimental feature HTML5 conformance checker. So if you achieve this, you've started your tags, closed your tags properly, and you indented your codes properly, and all these things. There's lots of things involved. Now, however, when you get an error here, when you start getting lots of error, it can be confusing. Okay, so you need to understand the HTML5 rules. You need to understand XHTML5 rules. Otherwise, you're going to get confused, because I've noticed the information they sometimes give is a very high level technical error message they give you, so it's very hard to understand. Okay, so be careful regarding how you start the tags, how you close your tags, how you put the quotation in the right place, how you declaring your ID, how you going to declare your classes, and all this stuff. If you just start typing your codes anywhere, here and there, it's not correct. You're not a good programmer, you're not a good web designer. Okay, remember what I'm teaching you in this tutorial, these are the basic of the basic. There are lots of books out there, there are lots of tutorials out there, there's hundreds and hundreds of web pages on internet you can read. Okay, you can't just learn what I'm teaching you. You have to do further research yourself, find out how things works, and experiment. If you keep on experimenting, you will learn what you're doing. Okay, so basically for this, I think we'll stop in for here to setting up the web layout. That way it doesn't affect other pages once we start creating other pages. Not only that, we need to make sure that everything is follows the process properly. Okay, just to recap, in this tutorial we talked about comment tags, very important, how to reference within the HTML page, and not only that, most important part is this linking the HTML5 shift.js which is the file I've saved inside my JavaScript folder, and the importance why we need to do that. Okay, and then furthermore we started looking at this new tag called div. Okay, div has got no association to anything. The way the div works is when we declare an ID to it or a class to it. Now we're going to start looking at this further, but just to remind you, do a little research on using the ID and class in order to make your website further much more how do I say this, practical for you to develop it further. Okay, and then we looked at how using this wrapper around all your tags, okay, we can center it. On top of that, we looked at how we can comment in CSS. Remember, \* and your message, and then at the end finish with *. Okay, remember, just like HTML5, you need to comment your lines. You need to comment them, tell what's happening. That way you know what's happening as well in the future. Okay, and then finally we looked at the W3C compliance website to understand that the code I've showed you so far does meet with the compliance. Otherwise, anyone can write any silly codes which is not correct. There must be something to check up everything is correct. If you think about it, if you're doing C++ or Visual Basic, think of this as kind of like a compiler checking for your errors. Okay, remember, if you're using HTML5, it should be passed with only one warning. If you're working with XHTML 4.101, then it must be passed no warning. Okay, on that point, have a nice day.